Hello everybody! What a thunder blunder yesterday, huh? I managed to practically miss mate twice on the same move, almost. I gave up the opportunity to checkmate my opponent and instead get checkmated myself, practically. Anyway, we're in the 1300s, so we should expect some stiff competition. Oh! Do you like it stiff, sir? Oh, yes, you do, sir. Okay, Monde D is 1399, practically a 1400. If there's crunching sounds in the background, don't worry. It's the dog chewing on a pig's ear. And let's try not to make a pig's ear out of this game. Okay, the Calabrese counter gambit. My opponent probably hasn't seen it an awful lot. Okay, you practically always play knight f6 on this move. And I need to calm down and not get too overexcited. Okay, this now means I can play d5. Interestingly, the bishop's retreat that way has now gone. So if he goes here, he's just going to walk into c6 again. So there he goes. And now after we've moved the d-pawn, we can recapture on there. And who's better? Right? Two central pawns against one central pawn. Two developed pieces each. And it's black with the initiative because white has had to spend a move retreating the bishop. Therefore, to all intents and purposes, we now have the white pieces. I think I'm inclined to play that move. c6 kind of has its appeal, but it's not necessary to play c6 at this point. I think develop, prepare to castle. The bishop's absolutely fine. The bishop, what I mean by the bishop is, of course, the knight. Calm down, Benjamin. It's a bloody game. Relax. Okay, knight's attacking this. It's not defended. There's a couple of attractive defences. Knight bd7, yes. Queen e7 is also a thought. There's no kind of chance of letting the knight take and then pin because he's just got castles. And then the pin's going to backfire when he gets a rook on e1. So I might want to play this move. So I think knight bd7. But the knight bd7 comes with a problem, which is that it blocks the queen's defence of that pawn. And that knight is practically pinned, so we can rule out knight bd7. So I can clearly not choose the wine in front of you. But also queen e7 also undefends this pawn. Therefore, by process of elimination, we are down to the move knight c6. Yes, indeed. Am I wrong? Now, I did spend a minute on that. So I want to castle. Generally, it's a good idea to take advantage of your stronger central pawns and push and crack some skulls early on. For example, we should consider the move d4. It does make his bishop an awful lot better. We should consider this move. And if pawn takes, bishop takes, knight takes, though. There, pawn takes. So he's now got two attackers on here, right? What about something like this? Let's say he comes in. Or I could up the ante. I think up your ante is the I don't know. That's what I'm going to play. I mean, okay, so he retreats, and I think we just double down. Keep going. And now we're trying to shove pawns down his throat and make life extremely uncomfortable for the bugger. Okay, this drops a pawn. You've kind of got the board a bit big. Sometimes you can miss things when the board's too big. Do you ever play better on your phone than you do on a screen, or I don't know. If you have to kind of move your head around, sometimes you can miss stuff. Okay, but we've got a good game on anyway. Okay, but a perfect centre here. Look at this. Opponent's also okay, with his bishops both in this weird position. Two attackers, only one defender. This is our key issue right now. So I'm thinking here, because there's also 2 attackers on there, so does this solve all my problems? And then I can castle, probably long, and then think about just messing with this stuff. I think black is slightly better, unless I'm missing something tactical. Maybe I need to sit across the room a little bit. Interesting conversation that's been going on in the comments around my assertion that the Goring Gambit, which of course no one's ever seen because it's never played, is not unsound. Okay, it's an interesting move from opponent here. This pawn is obviously in a pin because the queen would hang. Takes. I've got 3 attackers. He's got 2 defenders. Takes. Let's say knight takes. I take knight. And queen takes. Hang on. I take your pawn, you take my knight. I take back. I'm a pawn up. Queen takes. I take queen. Still a pawn up. Bishop takes. I take bishop. I think we're okay, aren't we? Obviously we're limited by time, so we can't think about things too carefully, but the use of your time is jolly important in this game that we call chess. So now look, right? Okay, I'm a pawn up, and I can just block. Am I wrong? I like knight e4. It's a nice fork. I'd love to get his bishops off this because he's got no central pawns anymore, right? There's no D or E pawn for white. I've got the D and E pawns, and it's a wide open board, so bishops rule on principle, not necessarily in practice. So this move, kind of forcing. Oh, well, he's coming after my bishop. He hangeth that somewhat. I think I'm just inclined to drop back to here, though. Are you comfy? You're going to wipe your face all over my chair? She says, I enjoyed that pig's ear so much, I'm going to wipe my face all over your shit now. Surely we push, because this is a pawn fork, but it's not defended, so I'm thinking pushki, and then maybe just jam the pawn. Pump up the jam. Still liking knight e4. Got nearly 5 minutes, got heaps of time. Now there is a lot of fresh air back here, because I've pushed my pawns, got some amount of space. I'm just going to play this. He might do this, but he loses a pawn with check, so... Yeah, okay, so now I've figured out this is what's going on. So a5. Because now if this, and I move back to here, he has that defended by the rook with a fork. Pawn fork. Not good. So this de-encourages that, because now if b4, we've got a5 takes b4, a3 takes b4, then I take again with check, as previously discussed. Okay. I'm going to chuck this move in, because time is of the essence. This pawn is not in a pin, but could be. For example, if it moves, I've got a double attack, right? Discovered check and hit on the knight. Knight can't block because bishop takes anyway, and it's check again. So, to all extents and purposes, okay, I take this, I'm hitting the rook. Have you got time to take me? You take back. I take this. I can't do that as such. Okay, I'm going to take the bishop. I don't think you can take my bishop. I might drop it back to here with the ideas of having a sniff around that pawn. Sniffing around pawn doesn't sound very appetising, does it? Okay, so now 2 attacks on the old bish. Probably not, because he just takes me, right? I take him. You might trade queens. Nothing to show for that, is there really? So back to the original discussion. Expecting this to come in. So I should just drop back to one of these squares. Well, that's a bit one-dimensional, isn't it? Really want the f-pawn to move. Come on. Move here. That's a really good move. Okay. Right, now I can't castle because of the king's the only defender of that. So let's just stick this there. You don't have that because I take with tempo on the queen. You lose a piece. 3 minutes 43. It's game on time again, isn't it? Why do people insist on playing reasonable chess? And it's annoying. He's got this. He also has that. Just swing at a king. All you got to do is a swing at a king. It's all right. Used to work in an Italian restaurant, and when the phone used to go, the head waster. Yeah, there you go. Freudian slip there. The head waster used to say, just a minute, I'll look at the book. Oh, bollocks, what happened there? Tits. Cock, right. And then I've just hung a royal fork as well. Bucket, and bollocks, and... Well, that's okay. If I take his queen, he still has the royal fork. I take queen, you come here. I'm a piece down. I win this at the end of it. Come here, I come here, you take, I take. No, I don't win it because it's your go. But we're equal. But then he has rook takes c6, which vexes. Of course you've got to take that. Why is he thinking for 11 seconds on whether to take my queen? Yeah, that was also obvious. Right, my pawn down. This is hanging. There's not a lot I can do about it, so I'm thinking, do I want to trade? Do I want to go? I could go here. He's just going to move his rook though, isn't he? And with discovered check. Takes. That's hit. He can move that. Doesn't work. He still loses his pawn. We're back to equal. See, yeah, there are days on my normal account where I'd be playing a 13.99 and struggling. So it's absolutely, it's not unexpected to have a tricky game. But it is game on, and my biggest asset here is Derek the D-pawn. So I kind of fancy pushing Derek right now, but however, this and this, I think I have to take here. Derek is my little Trojan hero, right? Yeah, I'm not sure about that, mate. Yeah. There, here, something like this. Or do we push the d-pawn right now? There, can he just get the rook behind it? We don't want that. We don't want that at all. But the question is, which rook do I put behind it? I think something's telling me this one. Just a little thing. There and rook takes we do not want. Also takes with a discovered check we do not want. So I'm just going to jam that one there. That's just fine. This pawn is not upsetting me whatsoever. Oh, fuck it, I'll take a draw. That's a good sport, I guess. I want to look at that game. I know I only get one a day on this account, but I want to look at this game review. And I was doing jolly well. There's only one blunder in the whole game, but 4 misses. And it had us at 1350, 1300. Harsh. Like here, like we said, we're doing really well. And then that was a miss. It's saying this pawn push. Now he has 2 attackers, but after takes. Now it's saying knight's hg3. And if h takes. Oh! Right, it's a move order thing. It's because that comes with tempo on the rook, but is another a defender? Kind of. Did I see that? Well, that's kind of complicated. But it was, you know, good game, good game, good game. Come back to the review. Is there anything else interesting? Yeah, I mean, he was totally winning here. And that was completely unnecessary. Yeah, that just didn't work out for him, did it? But, you know. Tough calculation, man. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. And let's play the Göring, yeah? Well, someone's got to want to play into the Scotch. I've got a 1250. Is that Hungary? Bulgaria. Sorry. Get them confused all the time. Right, the Scotch game. You need to take the pawn. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Goring Gambit. Very similar to the Danish Gambit with the addition of these. 2 horses out in the board. We now have double accepted, so he's accepted the Scotch and he's accepted the Göring. Big question is he going to take the 3rd pawn? If he does, at kind of beginner and intermediate level, white wins at least 60% of the time. Okay, this. Now, we're in sideline territory, so I'm going to struggle. Okay, now I know that castles is probably fine. Things we should be looking out for are Queen d5, threatening mate, but it's not mate. I can actually just take out the knight. We also have, I mean, a very standard move is the Queen b3, setting up this battery or barrage against f7. I think the purpose of this move is to defend f7. Now, my issue is I can't snipe that knight right now because of this. So for that reason, I'm favouring Queen b3. Now, double knight h6. I probably have a chapter on it. And I will check that chapter after the game. So yeah, I'm going to go Queen b3. Comes with this, an immediate threat. Well, the immediate threat is actually taking out the knight. Mess up your pawns, I go in there. Okay. Queen to f6. General rule, if the queen goes to either of these squares, one thing you should be looking at is these. Knight takes c3, knight d5, attacks both of these squares, also comes with the added bonus of attacking c7. And I don't see any reason not to play it. A lot of these moves apply also to the Danish. Now, one of the issues here is that we have this, and the d-pawn hasn't moved. If the d-pawn has moved, you've got 2 checks here, which effectively force the knight back to c6. Sometimes you just have to suck it up. Okay. Now, under normal conditions, very often when this move comes, you've got ideas of Queen d5, and you've got ideas of bishop sack on there. However, I think one of the reasons actually as well he's put his queen there is to defend that knight. I think we go straight in. Ich sehe kein Problem. So the idea, the overarching kind of theme of an opening like the Göring is its initiative. I mean, like most gambits, you're giving up material. So here we're still one pawn down, and but in return we've got initiative. What do we mean? Well, we've got 4 good pieces. If he'd taken there as well, we'd have this bishop would be really strong. So, I mean, obviously, idea number 1 is to take the knight. Now, queen can't really take because he walks straight into the knight takes c7 with a fork on 2 bits, and then also walks into this. So I think we wipe out the knight. He has to take with a pawn. But then after this, if queen takes knight here, we've won 2 pawns for the knight. We've got a potential checkity-doodah there as well. What about the move e5? Let's think this one through. Takes, queen takes, check. I don't want to do that without opening up the e-file though. I'm just really overexcited because it's the first time any bastard's played into the Goring Gambit and I don't want to fuck it up. So I tell you what, my hunch is castles here. Castles, rook e1 and push. Because he's really not got much. I mean, okay, short castles, forget it. What about even that? Is that stupid? Long castles, it's sometimes okay. I don't think I've got long castles actually anywhere in the course. Let's consider e5. Knight takes, queen takes. We move the king, but generally d1. Does hang that. Castles, he's got some time. Now he can't get this bishop out in order to long castle. Okay, I'm going to play it grown-up way. Maybe rook e1. Also another idea, sometimes rook a e1, if you're likely to want to push the f-pawn, but I think rook fe1 here, and just try and push through. Take advantage of the cack. Take advantage of the cack that our king is castled and his ain't, and he ain't short castling. Yeah, that kind of makes some sense, but now this, right? Yeah, I think we just pull the trigger on that one. What are you going to do? You can't move the queen without losing that. Knight takes. Okay. I see your mind. You will take the ring to Sauron. Here, king has to move. So let's say king moves and attacks my knight. I've also got a checkmate threat here, obviously. What about this, sir? Just hits the queen. And then I've got ideas of like moving my queen around. I think, see, this and that. I'm out of checks and my knight hangs, so what's the point? But I'm liking kind of this idea. Queen f3, if I get it in. Then anything with this knight, I've potentially got pressure against f7. Well, I have got some pressure against f7. That's a nice check, isn't it? Forks the rook, and the rook is an integral part of his attack. And it opens up this diagonal towards f7. Yes, my knight hangs, but... I mean, this is coming. You're in check. Oh, he gives up his queen! He sacrifices his queen! Okay, now this is on. This isn't. This isn't. Yeah, well, obviously, I know that's bishops don't move like that. I know that. Okay. Do we just want to chuck in a cheeky check? I mean, obviously that. I think this is an admission of he's got nothing, has he? And now also my queen and bishop aren't forkable. I was just going to say this. I mean, I've got that. King moves. I can't afford to take the rook. I've also got cheeky checks. I'm 6 materials in front. This, he's going to go here, right? So he's attacking the bish. But then I think I can just stick my queen there. And I'm also threatened to put a rook. Okay, now slightly got to watch out for this. Okay. I think just this then, yeah? The bishop's actually pinned. It's not actually attacking my bishop at all. No, no, no. I think we go here. I'm attacking your bishop. You aren't attacking mine because that fella's in the pin. "17 moves. Games don't always go on this long. One of the big ideas as well with the with like a lot of chess courses that you get from like serious players is I'm just going to trade down now. Is that they say, oh, you need to understand the middle game plans. Well, what's interesting about the Goring Gambit, or maybe it's just what's interesting about my playing style is that there aren't any middle game plans. The plan is checkmate the bastard. That's the idea. Knight takes, queen takes, 2 legal moves. It's going to end in tears. And checkmate ends the game. Thank you very much, boys and girls. Okay, now what I'm going to do. Now for something completely different, okay? This. And I'm going to see if my course has it covered. Okay, so here is a sneak preview. Yes, he was a good sport, and yes, good game. Okay, so this is double knight h6. Is it covered? I've got all the chapters here. It'll be covered in sidelines. I've got double knight f6 is the main one. Double knight f6 and pushing the pawn, because there's a general rule. And see, my course runs on these rules, right? You remember the rules, and you're halfway there. You really are halfway there. Okay, so knight f6, and we generally push e4 to e5 with tempo if we can. So we've got double knight f6 with the barrage. So instead of pushing the pawn there, we put the queen on b3. But that isn't the rule. We've also got a berserker attack, which is fun, and h6. So fully accept. Oh, okay, it's not none of those. Double knight f6, barrage, double h6 we've got. And nope, so it's Goring double sidelines. Okay, let us check out chapter 12 of the course. Goring double sidelines. And boys and girls, it does not exist. It must be extremely rare. So let's just check it out on the Lichess database. Now, also, the other thing about my course, I've designed this around 1000 to 1400 Lichess, which is kind of similar chess.com. So you're looking at, it would be appropriate to any beginner, breakthrough, early intermediate players, right? Which is where the majority of players are. Most of the courses out there are so deep and so complicated that they are pitched at the advanced player, the expert player. which is what I ain't. And neither, more than likely, is you, because if you were, you wouldn't be watching my channel. Okay, so now here, knight h6. Is not on the database. So, I think what we'll do, we'll just go back to here. And we've got the eval slight in white's favour, so it's 0.8 in white's favour. And what did we do? We did the barrage. Now the computer doesn't like it. The computer's saying it's inaccurate. And I haven't got eval, but we'll just watch the bar, okay? Queen there, again, it's now tilted slightly back to white. We capture the pawn, even Stevens. Right? But this is even Stevens with us having one pawn fewer than black does. They come out here and the computer says, no mate, 2.3 now, 2.4 in white's favour, because now we followed up with knight d5, computer says, bing, correct. That mistake. Oh, he says, you didn't want to do that. You didn't want to do, you had a better move there. You shouldn't have done that. But, you know, now we are good. Castle's good. Still 2.5. Rook there, maybe, maybe not. And I think we're just kind of, we're doing okay from this point. 2.9 now. Keeping up the pressure. Lots of tic-tacs. Sacrifices his queen. Didn't have to do that, but there we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I give you the evil, the venomous, but more than anything else, they're very, very exciting and above all easy to remember, Goring Gambit. So my course is not done yet. I'm going to record a bunch of videos. I'm still working through it. I'm checking and double checking which rules you apply in which order. But when it's ready, I will let you know. But that aside, all that remains is for me to thank you for your time and hope you've enjoyed yourself. I certainly have. Thank you to Rasturenik from Bulgaria for doing us a big favour, chucking us a bone and playing into the Göring. And I'm sorry if your bottom hurts. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.